Kelly with Kellyton and Associates. So this week I've been talking about managers, leaders, what makes a good leader, what traits make a good leader, and have been breaking down some of those traits, at least things that are of my opinion. Again, I'd love to hear from you about skill sets or traits that you think make a good leader as well. So one of the other things that I want to discuss this week is communication, and this is probably one of the hardest things for me. My husband always used to tell me, if we could just communicate, which, we eventually got really good at, but I'll tell you, the first 2 years were really hard. He knows that. But anyways, as I mentioned, communication. So ironically, the reason I think that communication is much harder today is because we have so many inputs. We have so many things coming at us. I think about when I was a kid. I was born in 1980, for those of you that are curious. So that was 44 years ago, I guess, because we're in 2024. So I even think back to when I was, let's say 10. And there was a handful of ways that we would communicate with one another. Telephone, run down the street to go see if somebody was home, write a letter. I'm sure there were others, but those that come to mind to me. Where now we can communicate. Like, I want to reach somebody, I can reach them on Facebook, social media, WhatsApp, I can text them, I can try to video message them. If they're my neighbor, I can run next door and knock on the door, all of those sorts of things. And so we have so many things coming at us. So it's really hard to communicate. It's really hard to listen. It's really hard to communicate effectively. Technology and stuff is a blessing. I think it's also a curse in some ways because it's made it more difficult and more challenging for us. So when I talk about listening, a skill that I'm always trying to perfect. So I'm speaking to you here today from the perspective of I am not a perfection listener. I am not perfect at this skill. I'm always trying to improve, but just some things to share with you about listening. And you guys know it's part of our daily life. We're listening to stuff all the time. I listen to podcasts, I'm listening to my dogs bark, I'm listening to clients in a meeting, whatever the case may be. A statistic I found is we communicate throughout the day nearly 70 to 80% of the time. So we're constantly engaged in this act of communication through words, body language, our face. I'm huge with my face. I have to watch my face. I'm just telling you guys straight up. Tone, our behavior, semantics, the way we interpret things. That's what makes communication so difficult. I think I've said that like 5 times already. But the thing is that listening without practice, we may only retain, again, these are some statistics I found, 50% of what we actually hear. And then it just erodes to 25% like 2 days later. And so what's the result of that? Misunderstandings, missed opportunities, things happening that shouldn't happen within our organization, errors, safety issues. Making time to really stand back and listen, I think, is really important. And communication is really important because it's one of those things that builds trust within our organization. Building trust helps to really strengthen relationships. And when we have strong relationships on our team, we have more support from our team and we have more buy-in from our team. And we really have everybody working together towards that same mission and vision. And people are proactive. They have the ability to take proactive approaches to solving problems instead of being in this reactive mode all the time. Actively listening and listening to our team gives us, for lack of a better term, inside knowledge, so to speak. As we're building relationships with our team, we foster this environment of safety where people feel more comfortable sharing things with us, good, bad, and indifferent. And all of that information can help us improve processes, improve projects, come up with new ideas, and all of these sorts of things. Communicating clearly is really important and part of, I think, what really makes a strong leader. And I think this is also, at least for me, one of the hardest things to do. And so I would love to hear from you some techniques that have helped you, maybe because I might try to practice some of them, some of your suggestions. But what has made you as a leader, or a leader that you admire, what has made them a good communicator? What has made them a good listener? What has made them somebody who is able to transmit or transfer information very clearly? in yourself? What does that look like in a leader that you know? I would love to hear it, and I would love for us to be able to share resources and information. Thank you for listening. Again, if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter so that you can get this content in your inbox weekly on Wednesdays. And follow us on social media. I'm Kelly Tinnen with Kelly Tinnen and Associates.